This is the high level view of the game costs. I have the cost of the cabinet, cost of the playfield, guesstimate of what packaging would be. I'll know when I make the first package, and uh, this is the total cost of the game right now, 4,160 ish. I want to sell it at 6,000 each as I posted, so I would have a net of around 1,800. I'm gonna make 10 units, technically 11 because I want to keep one, but that'll be out of my pocket. So, but I want to make 10 units for distribution. 8 of them would be for sale, because one I'd give to Marco, as I said, and one would go to Project Pinball for them to do whatever. So that's so the whole total sales amount would be 8 times 6, which would be $48,000 is what I would get as my gross sales in theory. The total cost of the parts would be 10 times 4,100, which which would be 41,000. And so the net, what I would get at the end of the day, is 6,300. But I wouldn't actually get 6,300. I would because I would need to pay for a truck to bring things to expo. I would need to pay for expo, and this a whole bunch of other various little expenses here and there. And I suspect that this cost of the game is going to actually go fluctuate a little bit more, so I might make a little less, a little bit more. Uh, so yeah, so there's that cost. The playfield parts, as I was going over a few minutes ago, that I guess I was muted. Yay! Um, so yeah, I have all the parts kind of listed on the left side of what I'm going to have in here. I have part numbers as makes sense on the inside, so I can easily look them up. I have notes as to like any other miscellaneous things, such as what coil stops and coils I want to have on it, where I might find the thing, and whether it's Marco or Pinball Life or something. Um, like 3D printed costs versus purchase costs, other various things like the feed I usually would get from Pinball Spare Parts or something. So that's all kind of listed here, as well as the quantity and the assumed prices for things. Like for instance, I need one of each of these flippers because they're all different, the left flippers and the right flippers. But the slingshot, I need two of, so I put two. Some things I was mentioning when I was muted that uh, I kind of want to trim down because right now, for like the stern down post, I need two down posts here. I need one on the left side and one on the right side for the two ramps for different vine locks, like what you call it. Uh, uh, the pumpkin patches have vines and other things all over the place. So this would be like those big vines on the ramps. And so there's a lock on the left side. There's gonna be a lock on the right side. Those are down posts. However, the down post that I can buy is too short, so I do need the extended down post. And I also don't want to have a stern coil on it. I rather have a Williams coil. So that's an extra $20 added on to the cost of the down post, which I'm gonna contact a couple of distributors and I'm gonna see, hey, can you just kind of combine it all in one? So instead of it being $75, maybe it's $60 for the one combination thing. And I need 22 of them anyways, and it just maybe it makes sense. Maybe I'll save some money that way. Uh, in a similar manner, I don't know, like these fast LEDs, I'm probably going to make some LED boards, so this is going to fluctuate maybe a little higher, a little lower, depending on what it takes to make those boards. It might actually go a bit lower because boards are pretty cheap to make these days, but I don't know. So I'm making an assumption there. Hardware, all the little nuts and bolts and washers and T-nuts and everything. I'm making a little bit of an assumption here. I don't actually have a page for all of that yet because I'm still kind of in the design phase. But I'm assuming it's going to be around $80, give or take. I'm hoping it's a little less when I buy things in bulk. Uh, each one of my pages usually has a miscellaneous on it. to act as like a catch-all if I undervalued something at some point, that I now have a buffer. This used to be like $250 a couple weeks ago and is slowly whittled down as I've added things or removed things and such. Yes, so some of these, like the light rod that I use for GI and the inserts, these are all going to be 3D printed because I can do 16 cents or less an insert and about less than a quarter for a GI rod instead of a buck 50 or 50 cents each, and that ends up saving like a good $100, $150 between the two of these. So that would be an extra like $35, and this would be an extra lot. I think I yeah. So that saves 50 $45 between the two things, which when you're doing a lot of games adds up quite a bit. 45 times 10 games is $450 I'm saving. Some of these fast boards, for instance, the induction switches. This is an assumption. I don't actually know what the price is. I'm gonna chat with Aaron and figure that out. But I'm thinking about putting the induction switches in these orbits. That way, the ball doesn't get hung up. Because one of the banes of designing these things is if the ball is moving too slow at just the wrong spot, it can get stuck kind of on a switch. I don't want that to happen. And so I'm going to use induction switches maybe on a couple of these orbits. And I can also potentially put them in tighter spots, like this spot up here. I could maybe put an induction switch, which I normally wouldn't be able to do with a regular mechanical switch. So I'm thinking like um, 1, 2, 3, 4 induction switch. They come in packs of 4, so maybe in those 4 spots. Um, because I also can't really put a mechanical switch here because it's just a little too wide. But an induction switch I could put because it doesn't have to worry about the mechanical space and sizings for the thing. So I could put an induction like right here, so detecting the ball coming in and based on like what the previous switch the ball hit and such, right? So I could fiddle around with that a bit. So that's why I want to play with those induction switches. The cabling, I'm assuming, is kind of this. This is a very rough estimate based on what I've done in the past with an amount of feet. So it's basically this times this times this. So the length of the wire, the number of wires, and then the total. And I know for the main artery, for instance, I have 16 wires going from the power supply cabinet area onto the playfield, and it's about 8 feet of that. So that would be about $15. The switch, I have 48 different wires for switches. That is at about 3 feet on average each. Yes, it varies. Some is only a foot and a half. Some is 7 feet. So it varies. So that's assumed about $17. Solenoids, same idea. It's assumed about 4 feet each. Then there's 14 solenoids on average, give or take. So 14 solenoid wires, which is actually probably a little wrong. It might be a little bit more or less. So $6 in miscellaneous wiring for power and things. The LED cabling, various housings and things, which cost. This is a complete bullshit, but I put it in there just for the sake of it right now. So around $90. It's probably going to be a little bit more at the end of the day, maybe 110. Once I fully design all the wiring harnesses. So yeah, that's what that cabling is there. I already explained hardware and that. The arch and ramps, these I want to pull from a single sheet of black ABS. So I pulled the ramps from a single sheet of ABS. Now that I'm optimizing the ramps to instead of being 4 pieces, they're 2 pieces. That gives me space to also put the arch on there as well. So if I can pull them all at once, then it only costs me $25 for both ramps and the arch, which is pretty good. So it's $6 a ramp and $12 for the arch. That ain't bad. Uh, another big savings is the ladder tree, because usually I would get like the stern ladder tree and to put around or metal ladder tree, and if I bought it, it would be around $20 on average for like 20 of these because they're about a buck each. 3D printing them, they're pennies. They're like they're 30 cents each, give or take. So it saves me another $13 just printing those things. And there's really no difference in quality between the two. Now that I've done it a bunch of times for a bunch of games, I can see it works really well. And I do all my printing in resin, by the way. So, anyways, this playfield parts ends up right now being around $2,060. Hopefully, I can bring that down a little bit more. I might not be able to. It might actually end up going up because I also don't have the pumpkin in here yet, which is probably going to take up this extra 60, but it might actually be $100 more. So this might end up being $2,100. So, but if I can kind of play with the averages and things as I finalize this, I'm going to. Uh, the cabinet is another expensive point, and there's not a lot that can be done. Like a lot of the expense here comes from the main computer and control systems and the door. The coin door is bloody $200 for this stupid thing, for a Williams style door. If anyone knows of a place that I can get a cheaper coin door, a cheaper Williams coin door than $200, please let me know. I'd love it if it was like 150 or less. Um, the Neuron power filter and cabinet I/O are add up another big chunk. This is another $600, 500, yeah, around $500 to $600. Then the power supplies, side rails aren't all that cheap. I use the black Pinball 2000 style side rails. Those are not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's fine. Lockdown bar and lockdown bar latch. These things are stupidly expensive for what they are, but it does have to be kind of heavy metal, so I get it. But between those two, it's $150, which sucks. The wood, thankfully, is pretty cheap. The like for the cabinet, it's $90 for a sheet, so it's less than $200. The decals and things I can get it printed locally at like Sonorama, and they do a good job. That's what I did with Christmas Countdown, and it turns out really good. So that's fine. I'm not worried about that. So I'm toying with monitors. This is kind of what I'm playing with down here. What I really want is the Unico monitor, the 26-inch Unico that I used in Christmas Countdown. However, in doing that adds $300 worth of cost because those things are $300. They look nice, but it's $300. I can get away with a 15-inch monitor from Amazon, and that's $60, a $240 savings, which is significant. So that's what I'm kind of toying with right now. But in doing that, I also definitely need a translite, which with the Unico monitor, I could probably get away with just having a black shroud around it instead of a translite, and maybe like a sticker on the front or something. But definitely with the 15-inch monitor, I need a translite. So that does offset but it still saves $200. The launch button, obviously, I'm not going to have a plunger. It's going to be launch because if you look at the playfield parts and I go to plunger, if I even still have it on here. No, I took it off. Yeah, I took it off. Okay, so a plunger, yeah, because I have the auto shooter right here. So an auto shooter is only $35. A plunger is $35 plus an auto shooting assembly is another 70, so that's like $100 ish for a plunger auto shooter combo. Whereas if I just have a standard auto shooter, like a Williams style non-plunger auto shooter, that saves a good $70 ish per game, which 10 games, that's $700 worth of savings. That's significant. No, you can't have skill shots as easy or like variable plunger speeds as easy. Yes, there's a way to do it in code, but the savings is substantial, and I'm trying to keep things under a certain amount. So because I don't have a plunger, I do need a shooter button. So it's $8 more. but $8 is a small price to pay to save really $60 overall. So yeah. Um, da, da, da. Yeah, so that's kind of the cabinet cost. That's where I get around $2,000. So in total, like I said, $4,160 right now for everything. In theory, and this will fluctuate. It'll probably end up being about $4,250. So if I do 4250 as an example, then my actual net is going to be 5,500 instead of 6,500 ish thousand, which is going to make things a little tighter when doing the whole the truck and the trip and everything. To rent a truck big enough to bring all this stuff, I know for a fact, because I've done this in the past, I know for a fact is going to be around $3,500 to $4,000. So let's assume 4,000. A couple years ago it was around $3,500. Assume $4,000 between the rental and the gas and everything. Then the expo hotel itself is around $1,200. So now you're at, $5,200 ish, give or take, plus fees. Then add in food, you're at $5,500 right there. So poof, congratulations, I've broken even. And if costs go up over the next year, which things might, then I'll end up being in the red a little bit, which I don't want to do. Well, it's just yay. But I still need to keep this 6,000 MSRP, because this game I don't think is going to be really worth more than that, unless I make the rules really, really, really good, which is going to be difficult. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, this is kind of how the BOM looks, how the BOM is working right now. So yeah, let's go back to um, this one. Yeah, okay. That's BOM in a nutshell. So I have about an hour left to fiddle with this thing, because I wasted half an hour talking to nothing, because my I can't believe I had that muted. My God. All right. Um, yeah. So I want to work on plastic on this side. I don't remember. Did I sketch up a rough? I did not sketch up a rough. I did not sketch up a rough. So that's the right ramp. Oh, so last time I created I think I just added an assembly, and then I created a drawing on the assembly, right? No. Oh, I just created. Oh, all right. I think I just created the plastic. I don't remember what I did. I don't see my sketches. All right. Well, anyways, I'll create an assembly. Actually, no. I'll create a. Oh, okay. Um, New assembly file. Save as parts, plastics. Oh shit. All right. Well, whatever. Um, I'm gonna rename this to right. Um, right inlane plastic. All right, and I'm gonna bring this in, and there's nothing in here right now, but that's fine. I can move the origin to where I want, which I think the last time the origin was right where the ball was gonna drop, so that worked out pretty well. I'll do that again and move like there. just out of curiosity, this is dropping a bit higher than that. So I am going to move it so it's a bit higher than that. Like there, I think. Maybe I should do this a little more smartly and pop sketch. I'll make a sketch and I'll just go directly horizontal from this other center point. That way they're actually lined up properly when I design this, and I'm not guesstimating. There to okay, so that's where the origin needs to go. Origin, and let's mate this. I do not want to do that because I'm in sketch mode. You complaining about? Stop that. Get out of sketch mode. Let's then do origin and this mate. Mate. Yeah. All right. So that will be a little wrong at the moment, but I can then say unmate this. I can say the top is now going to be mated to the top of one of these posts, which inconveniently doesn't have a post on it. Oh, all right, well, actually the top can be mated to the bottom of this side, can it? Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. That's good enough. Now I have it so it's at the right height. The origin is in the right spot. Good, so now I'll fix this. Okay. Right, I adjusted some things on this side too, so this actually needs to be modified a little bit, I think. Maybe. I'll think about that. So another thing I can get rid of is this. Don't need that anymore. Because this thing, this ramp here, actually, to do this now, have cut extrude here, which is going to move to here. Yeah. Let's unhorizontal that way I can. Oh, I can't unhorizontal. I should just remove this. That way I can horizontal this and then pull that up. That. I do want this to come a little lower here. This. Let's set a distance from endpoint. And my hands are already acting up. We'll say, really, why can't I select? Why won't you let me select? Ow, Jesus. All right, well, so much for that idea. I was gonna make it like a specific length, but it doesn't want me to. Clearly, yeah, there's gonna be a mounting post like right over here. So, okay, that's where that ramp goes. And in doing this too, I can extend this edge pull this up and extend this edge to the end here like this. And like this to surface. Okay. And then everything else can be the way it was. So now this can mount over on the side here. I can have a spot here to have like a flasher or something now. This ramp down here is not going to be a problem, or this launch ramp, because that's plenty of space up for this to kind of go up and in. Not a problem. Um, this ramp is actually going to be going down a little bit, and I no longer need this little cutout either. That's nice. So let's change this ramp, load it, change the distance to be 9 and 8/16, or 1 and 8/16. So now that's going to be sitting right nice and dandy on there. We'll fix that again. This should get fixed. This right here, edit part. This cut extrude is no longer needed, which makes that nice and dandy. That's specifically along the, oh, that's there because of this down here. Okay. So that's going to have a little bit of an overhang, but that's fine. I can always clean that out. I can put a chamfer there at some point, but anyways. So there will be a post on right here. Let's see for a second, because I do have some posts scattered around now. Yeah, I do need the post there and a mount point there. Then this post doesn't need to be here. This post can move. Device holes. This post can move over to here now. Like that. And this ramp can actually come down a little bit more too. Let's lower the ramp a tickle more, a 1/16 of an inch more. Edit. Oh, not edit. need to float. And yeah, so this is 7/16 because I think this other ramp is 7/16 also. That makes sense. Seven sixteenths. Yeah, that fits right now perfectly on there. Like that. Yeah, so now that's all nice on there. That's fairly flush on here. Yes, there's a little bit of space. And I think there's space on the other side too, if I look at it. Let's go horizontal. Not that horizontal, this horizontal. So yes, there's space on both sides of these. So technically speaking, I can raise these edges up a little bit. Well, these are already offset. I don't know if I like that. So if I bring that back up this way, that would come over to. I don't know if I like that. I'll think about it. Okay. Anyways, back to the plastic. Now that we know where that ramp ends, and these are the basically the shapes of the new ramps, right? So I'm gonna do something for a second. Let's go to not gonna be in there. It's gonna be in design CNC ramps layout. Okay, so let's take a look at this quickly for a minute. I no longer need this piece. I no longer need this piece. So these two pieces, got this one, which, yeah, I'll put that there. Got this one, which I can rotate like that. Put that there. Now the big trick is I need to be able to fit a whatchamacallit, the arch on this. So if I go to here and grab um, this, can't. I'm in move mode. I can't put that in move mode. Put this in here. Okay. So now, how can I manipulate things so this fits? First off, what makes sense to mount it? Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh yeah, these are flip flopped in weird ways. How about first, before I do that, let's take the mate of this and flip it. And then that'll be more correct. Okay. Um, this arch is a big one. So technically, I want this tall section as close to the middle as possible. Mate the base. Mate that with the top. Okay, now I can rotate freely. Um, and we rotate. Yeah. Oh, I want it this way. ish. And let's rotate this thing. Hmm. Hmm. Uh-huh. 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 Okay. Rotate this. Um. No. Because I mean, this can go here, but then the arch doesn't have a spot. All right. How about I rotate the arch back here ish. And put you there. And you. That didn't work either. Oh man. This arch is just a little too. A little bit. Wait a minute. Bring this back to here. I don't think that's going to work very well. Where the hell can this one go? Just rotate the arch a little bit more. Anyways, this is part of the fun puzzle piece of trying to figure out if these things are going to fit. Oh, maybe if I, whoops, undo that. Maybe if I move this over here, and because this side doesn't have as much of a bulbous center. It also doesn't fit as nicely over here either. See, that's fine because that's all flat. I don't care so much about that. And this, you see, this one still has no space to go. Oh, jeez. I can't quite fit it in there. I might not be able to fit these things together. I might not be able to fit these things together. I mean, this end is really tall, like really really tall, and this will cause problems if I put it way on the end over here. This needs to be more in the middle. Um, yeah, shoot. I might not be able to do this all in one pull. Yeah, but when I make the buck, this is going to spread out more, so that's not going to fit. Stop rotating it. This might work. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be real tight. It's worth a shot, I suppose. Um, so a couple reasons why it might not work. For one, this curvature is really far over on this left side. Really far on that left side. What is the sketch size that I made on this? 26 by 32. Yeah, that's really, this should be 30 by 24 to give me edge allowances. Yeah, that's really. I mean, this might work. Because that lift isn't that bad over there. It's this backside I think is gonna be a big problem. This corner section I'm less concerned with because most of it gets cut out, right? So as long as it kind of gets a rough mold on the top, that's fine. I don't care how perfect it is on the side. It's the back that's more important. So I might want to design it so I don't need this flat back. Instead, maybe the mounting holes are up here, and then I use taller brackets or something to keep it in place, like supplemental brackets of some type. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, that actually might work. So this section here is also going to be a problem with here because that's so close. And I really don't like that. Um, all right, so all these formed pieces are. This section is fine. Yeah, see, this section. I don't think this section is gonna work. That's too close. I think that's just way too close. Now remember, I have a 1 inch buffer around this compared to what I have shown here. If I make a specialized buck, then this could work. But at the same time, if I don't care about the back and I pull this down more, I think I need to not care about the back and I need to make a different metal bracket for the back for the thing to mount on. And then this can work. Because this will work like this perfectly fine. Yeah, this will work like this perfectly fine. There's plenty of space between the ramps there all around. Um, the back will not work because of the height. I'm going to leave it at this for now, and I'll come back and ruminate on it later. Okay, let's go back to this thing. All right, so this is where the drop is going to be on here. Plastic comes up this way. I can have a little flange on the. Well, the plastic will have a natural flange on. Oh, yeah, the plastic will have a natural flange on it, which means this probably not needed. That's nice. See how that works. Yeah, we'll see how that works. All right, let's define the plastic. Pop. Edit components. Sketch. All right, so the first things that need to be copied over, of course, are going to be the slingshot and inlane guide positions, because a lot of this is going to be dictated from those. That. Why you no show? Why you no show the sketch? It was weird. That. That. Actually, I don't want this yet. I want the shape of this. So convert entities. Right, I did a general convert entity. I do need to zoom in on this because, of course, I do. Right? And on this side, that right where that is, it curled around. So this needs to be. I don't remember what I said it was going to be, but I will invent something more. This is what, 5 inches? No, 5/8 inches. Yeah, that's what it was. So 5/8. I think it was 5/8. It lines up with the T nut on the bottom. Let's see. Does this line up with the T nut on the bottom? Yes, it does. So that was 5/8. So this 5/8 then goes diagonal up like that. This is tangent. This doesn't exist, but this here does exist. This is tangent to that. A little lower. I believe I made a line that went tangent to this, right? So this and this need to be collinear. This. Yes, I know. Really? This is no longer. This needs be able to pull down a little bit. And this was 1 inch. Yes, that looks about right. So that was 1 inch. So that was like that. This, not that. This is the same as this. Oh, please. This comes down your tangent. And that's trimmed like there. Oh. Trim. Yeah. This is fixed. That piece there. Okay, this is where all the upper look goes. So this, I made that kind of diagonal. Yeah. This kind of goes this way to here and up. And this was a fillet of some type. We'll call it 0.5 inches, 1 inch. Yeah, we'll call it 1 inch. So that's fine. Now this thing here can right. Oh, right. Well, no, that needs to be horizontal with that. This whole thing is actually going to move up. I forgot about that. Yeah, that whole thing can move up and be more in line with this. Because this section, I do want to push that section up a little bit more. So that's handy. That's very handy, actually. Before I go too far in this, how about I go to this guy and make that adjustment. Plane starts where on that other side, right? Good. Figured I'd need to adjust this a little bit. Okay, so let's do this. Well, that's all part of a... What sketch is that on? On this sketch. Okay. This is going to be fixed. I know, go away. This is going to come up more like that. Go over onto that. It needs to go onto that flipper. I want this to stay here. That's going to end up being kind of like that. Which moves that all the way the fuck up there. Which is good. Which means this post can move way the hell up there. Is good. Which means this device can probably go that way more. which is good. And that gives more space for some things. Yeah, all right. And again, this orbit can probably adjust a little bit more again once I make these adjustments, because I want to push this up, I think, an inch. I did make a whole video about that. So I made a video about a bunch of adjustments I want to make later on, which this afternoon I'll probably open that video up and show what adjustments I decided I wanted to make, and make some adjustments also to this upper ramp to make it work right based on the video that we watched, or the video that all you guys saw that I watched back later. But for now, I can make this assumption. And it's not going to affect this post that I just moved. It's going to affect some things down here. Will go away. I don't care. All right. So now let's go back to this. All right. With that said, I need this to come this way. Come up here. This is going to be kind of sitting right. This is going to be mounted on this. So this can kind of go here. In a similar fashion that I did on this other side. Here, how that has a little in cut. I'm going to be doing that on this side too. And there's plenty of space, and I can move this thing back and forth a little bit. I just want it to be in line with this. That's the important thing, that these two things are in line with each other. And this is also going to be one of those slot moving things. If this can move up a little bit more, I might even be able to put another target on this side or something. Worst comes to worst, I'm going to probably put a leaf switch right here, because the leaf switch is a little cheaper than the target, I think. That way it makes a sound over on this side. So I'd like it better if it was a target, I think. I already kind of have the space for a target over there. Because this flipper can... Well, not quite. It probably will eventually. Alright, so what I really, really want to do is have this be in line with this thing. That would be really cool to have this kind of be the guide for this. Fix that right there. This come up this way. So on the other side, I had the plastic kind of come across and around. On this side, I think I want to keep these as two separate plastics, maybe. Maybe. But it's still, this plastic is still gonna, this plastic is still gonna mount kind of in here, and then this will be its own separate plastic over here. So if it comes up here, it then needs to bend over a little bit. Like that. And again, see, this is guiding that ball right up along there, which at this point, actually, it doesn't necessarily need to do that. So this can come slightly in like that. So coming in here, this is going to have a very gradual curve in. We're going to make this like 3 inches. You know, a slight curve in, because we don't want to pinch it. We don't want the ball to get stuck when the plastics and the metals all kind of collide. But if it has a gradual curve in, then it'll work really well. This side can be like a 1 inch over here. Maybe a 1.5 inch. And this does need to be tangent to this. Oh, no, don't do that. You trying? This, oh, that's set to be vertical. That's why. That's what the problem was. I don't want. Stop being a pain in the butt. I want this to be vertical, but I do want this to be tangent. No longer needs to be fixed. Will you let me just... Come on. The radius. Okay. No. Zoom out. Okay, so kind of like that. This definitely had a more gradual curve up to that, so I'll try and mimic that on this side. I don't really want this to move, so I'll make that fixed. I'll mimic that gradual curve. So like that on both sides there. This can come over here more. It'll allow me to make this curve come up a little more gradual. Yeah, so that's really a very gradual curve compared. I don't like that gradual curve. Well, actually, I think some of the problem is this is also too big. 1 inch. Oh no, maybe it's not big enough. Inches. Yeah, 1.5. 1.5 seemed about right. So that's fine. This curve, okay, yeah, I think I made this curve not equal to that other one because I don't know why it doesn't let me do. What? This is gonna be fixed. That needs to be like that. This. Going on? Why can't I just soften this curve a little bit, buddy? All right. You are fixed. You go away. You don't do that. You and you merge. You go up. Why are you complaining about this? Your tan. Yes, of course. This, if I give it a 1 inch, that'll make it a little more gradual. Yeah. If I unfix this, You see, now I can move this willy-nilly. I don't want to do that. Oh, you're gonna stay fixed. Why are you complaining? Oh, because that has the... Oh, because this and this are... Okay, yeah, that was overdefined because of that. Alright, so now that gives that more of a gradual curve, which looks just a little nicer. That goes up there. This will protect against some of the shenanigans over here. Um, this is going to be its own plastic up there, I think. Actually, it probably makes sense for this to become this plastic. We have very long plastic. Two very long plastics. Wonder if there's a way I can break that up into two pieces. I don't know. I'll think about that later on. But at least for now, I'll leave it at that, probably. Let's cut that one again. Make this go more straight down again, and then come across. And you're being a pain in the ass. Okay, so underneath here, the ball is never going to be able to get into this left spot. This left little nook. So I can actually stop this plastic here. And I can explain. So if I exit assembly, this ramp here is low enough that the ball can't jump over into this section. Right? And this ramp here is going to be low enough with the flange and everything, the ball can't get into this area at all. It's just not physically possible for the ball to get in there. So I don't need that much plastic, technically, in that area. So I can actually shrink this a little bit more. Yeah, so this can technically be like this, because the ball can never make it into this section, just period, with how things work. It's not going to be possible. Now that doesn't mean it can't. No, and it can't even get pinched into the. No, it's just not physically possible for the ball to get over here. Like up here, in this section, these are the. They're like flanging kind of up like this a little bit. If I can. So there's not even space for the ball to get into this part. Yeah, I'm not worried about this. I can even cut this in a little bit more. This upper ramp in a little bit more. Make that a little more gradual, because that'll also help prevent jumps and things. Yeah, I don't think the ball's never gonna get in there. And it won't easily be able to pinch because this ramp is mounted on the end here and the end here, so there's no place for it to kind of shift, shuffle, and wiggle. And this really is kind of bothering me now, so I do need to adjust this ramp. chamfer. The 2 inches. 5. This. One and 5/8 inch. Yeah, that I'm happier with that now. Now it's not hovering over no man's land. It's kind of trimmed in. All right, so this is probably going to be roughly where I'm going to stop now. I have a plastic a plastic shape kind of defined like I did last time, so I can go and flesh this out later on. This is going to have to actually go up more, isn't it? Otherwise, there won't be any. Yeah, otherwise there won't be any guide location for this. This is going to have to come down here more, like this. Yeah, anyways. So I have this ramp, this plastic section defined. So this afternoon, I'll make this into a solid. I'll then adjust this ramp, the entrance of this ramp. I'll adjust the position of this ramp a little bit, and the entrance of this orbit, which will also dictate how this guide works and where this ramp kind of goes, which will adjust this main plastic ever so slightly. And then I'll try and finish defining this plastic kind of like what I did with this, keeping in mind that I do have this ramp that I need to swish around to drop into it. So this actually might work out really well. I might be able to do another layered plastic, kind of like what I did here. Because this is up high, and based on previous thoughts, yeah, this actually might be neat to have like 5 or 6 layers of plastic as the thing loops around in there. That'll be fairly easy to make because it's just flat plastics. I don't have to do any more metal cutting and things. Then I'll have like 2 fairly extensive pieces of plastic on this, and a small plastic here, a small plastic here. This section, well, this section back here, I don't need to have any plastic really if I protect it properly. I might not need plastic really back here. And this along here, I may not really need. I might need to put one plastic. That's kind of like a diagonal plastic over here. But then I wouldn't need anything else, and I can just have, I don't know, scenery, vertical scenery or something. So yeah, this might work out pretty well. All right, so I think that's it for now. I got some things to do. Sorry about the beginning of the stream being all quiet, but I hope you enjoyed a little bit of bill of material explanation that I did. And I will see you this afternoon to work on this a little bit more.